that gonna be enough for to get me through the review? Find out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Geek First Reviews. I am Travis Snell of the Geek First Podcast. I imagine if this is your first time listening, you would assume that, or I guess you would think that I have hijacked this. I am doing a quick review for Netflix's Maniac. So how I'm going to break this down is I'm probably going to do, it's not going to be a long one. I'm not going to do a deep dive into every single episode. Just going to give overall thoughts of the series. I'd say it's probably going to be 50-50 of non-spoilers and spoilers. So I'm going to start off, of course, non-spoilers, giving my thoughts, my likes and dislikes without trying to spoil anything. Even then with the spoilers, no, don't go on that. Because I'll try to speak in broad terms as much as possible in non-spoilers. Because it's not like I think like a Daredevil or something show where it's like, oh my goodness, this big thing happens and it affects the whole show. No, it's a show that's about characters. If you know anything about, I guess we start there. Cary Fukunaga, True Detective, Beasts of No Nations. If you know anything about his work, he's very character-based, and his stuff, you look at True Detective, that is a show about character study. It's about two guys seeing them evolve. And I'm a huge fan. If you don't know, I've always said over action, over story, over everything else like that, everything in a film pretty much. I don't want those things to be bad, but the thing that I look for and like the most is character. I feel a great character can surpass and make me enjoy it. That's why, bad example, but this is an honest case. X-Men Origins, terrible movie, awful movie. One of the worst comic movies out there. It's in that lower to maybe awful tier. Hey, we ranked every comic book movie. Go check it out. It's somewhere on our channel. But the reason I've watched that movie so many times in my life, and the reason I'll probably still watch again, is because Hugh Jackman's in it. And this is the thing, it's not so much of that movie, but it was the past of setting him up. I am biased because I love Wolverine, but it was the actor and the way he portrays the character. Yes, the character does not have, it has growth in that movie, but not growth. I'm not going to review X-Men Origins, but the thing is, I love that character. So if I love characters, I can attach to them and stick through them with the best of times and the worst of times. If they brought Russ and Cole back from True Detective and it was an awful season, I'm still going to watch it and I'm probably still going to enjoy it because I have my past experience with those people. Same thing as Guardians 2 for one other example why I love it more is just because I feel it's like Pulp Fiction. It's like a character study of all these people. Pulp Fiction is my favorite non-comic movie because of that. I love the characters. So, I don't think I had much expectations. I heard about it, saw the teaser trailer, was like, great. Fukunaga, Stone, great. Hill, great. I'm a fan of them both. I'm a fan of Hill's more comedic work. He was good in Moneyball, really great in Wolf of Wall Street. I've yet to watch War Dogs. I'm going to in preparation of Joker. And then Emma Stone, just phenomenal. La La Land, one of my favorite movies. It was because of her and Gosling, but just she was the star of that. Clearly she won an Academy Award. But so, this show, very unique. I'll start with that. Very different. It's not what you're expecting. I think this other thing, I've not watched any trailers, so maybe they show, I should have seen if it gave light onto it. But the original teaser was just kind of them in a room being tested on, or quick flashes. You didn't know what type of show it was going to be about. And obviously, with the stuff he's done in the past, very dramatic to very dark and dramatic. So this show took me by surprise a little bit in the fact of it is very comedic, or it's trying to be very comedic, and that's not a big slight of it. It's just for me, the show, so it's about, it's Annie. Oh man, why have I already forgot Jonah Hill's character's name? That's not great. I will say, while I'm looking it up, I really appreciate it's 10 episodes, but I really appreciate one episode was 26 minutes. I want, especially something like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, maybe other shows do that, but most shows have been 13 episodes, 10 episodes, but then they do the classic 42 to 45 minutes. Experiment. Do episodes that are 26 minutes. Do 15. Do an hour and a half. Whatever serves that episode, do it. So really big plus that. That's a big pro. Oh my goodness. How long? Owen. You go to IMDb. There's so many ads before you even get to the cast. So it's these characters that are going into kind of a drug test. You would think it's a drug test, and I guess it is a drug test, but it's a clinical trial, I guess. They're trying this new therapy drug pill in a way. And this is why I'm trying not to spoil it. Like, that's the basis, that they're going there, and this is supposed to be a therapeutic. I'm on a fucking roll day. A therapeutic experience. There you go. Got the word. And both characters are set up in a way that they both clearly have troubles, and you start to learn troubles as it goes along. They both kind of make it, well, maybe not so much for Owen, but for Annie's character, it makes it seem it's just kind of just for money, in a sense, and then more is revealed that maybe it's more of a personal thing. But, like I said, I won't get in those reasons, but for different reasons, they go to this clinical trial, and then madness ensues. And this is the most I'll say as far as plot-wise, without trying to spoil stuff. I'll talk more about characters. When they get there, what they do is they take these 3 pills. I won't tell you what the pills do, but they also have these Inception-like dreams where they are acting out different people, and it's very different. Where Inception was, I felt grounded. Yeah, they're in a dream world, but still grounded. Where this, they have like kind of a Lord of the Rings themed episode, or there's an episode where they're both playing Russians, and I think there's about 4 dream episodes. So what it is you got like a real world episode where they're dealing with their problems and that trial, and then they'll go into the dreams, or kind of a dream, something like that. And then it's supposed to be helping you deal with your pain. So it is moving the plot forward, but it is also kind of touching on real world past stuff, you know? So it's very much like therapy, I imagine. So that's where some of my complaints come in, that I really liked the idea of the dreams and the dream world, and I liked the execution. It was fun. One of my biggest worries, and it could still be that, but it sometimes felt like it was just they were getting a chance to be actors, and I try not to make it sound like they're being pretentious, but it's a show where you get to try a bunch of different roles. But for me, it's not like The Americans with Kara Russell and Matthew Reeves, where they're playing a bunch of different roles, but it's very subtle, and there's very tweaks to a different character, or you're playing a grocer, or you're playing a banker, and it's like they make a new person in that character. But these are just so over the top. Like, one, Emma Stone kind of plays like an elf. One, Jonah Hill plays like a gangster. Like I said, they play Russians. And then other ones, they kind of play like southern sort of hillbilly deals. And they're very over the top. You can get away with it because it's in this dreamlike status. But for me, it was sometimes too over the top. And that's where a lot of the comedy comes in. And some, I feel, those dream aspects. And I'd say comedy for me worked about 60-40. I'll talk about Justin Theroux in a bit. He was like pretty much 100%. I love Justin Theroux. He needs to be in more, but he just plays, I'll talk about him briefly because the rest of the stuff spoilers. He plays the scientist who created this, and he's just a very awkward individual who has the definition of mommy issues, and it's him trying to find a balance of dealing with his mom, dealing with his project, and just finding kind of what his life meaning is. And he's a very comedic character. He starts kind of kooky and dramatic, but then he progresses into a very over-the-top character, and you're either going to like that or you're not going to like that. I guess for me it was because he was just one character throughout the whole way. I kind of felt it was a progression, and he kind of like loses his mind a bit, not in a way of like a big spoiler, just something like things start to go wrong for him in certain aspects of his life, and that's where he gets a little more kooky and out there. But with them in the dream world, it was so over the top, and they do things that they tie to the real world that are very fun and very clever, very dramatic, and I talk about them a little bit in the spoilers. But I honestly, which sounds weird for me, and this is why I'll just compare it to Inception. With Inception, I liked the real world stuff just as much as the dream stuff. I was interested both times. I was whatever we were, whether it was dealing with Cobb's family or just the action and the heightened reality of the dream world. I found I was always wanting to get back to the real world, and that's the problem where these dreams kind of coalesce. They happen, and then the characters either change because of dreams, or then maybe they'll talk about something that happened in the dream, so you need them in the show. It's just for me, and sometimes in the show, there's one scene in particular Jonah Hill has with a certain character I won't talk about. It's very dramatic, and it's near the end. It's like episode 8 for people that watch. I'll talk about spoilers. Very dramatic, and it's maybe the best acting I've ever seen him do. So when the dreams are dramatic, and I'm not saying they had to be dry and dark, not just because he did a True Detective, I'm not saying that, but sometimes the comedy or the heightened reality took away from the drama and took away from my interest in the show, to be honest, and I was always waiting to get to the main issues or get back to the real world, which I felt is kind of strange for a show that, this is a big concept for. Luckily, they don't hit you over the head, and I literally thought at one point it was just going to be the whole show was going to be the dreams, Luckily, there's lots of real world stuff, but really connected with that. Really connected with, excuse me, really connected with those characters. That's a good time to do a water break. Did you hear that? Double cough? Not good. Really connected with these characters, and they tackle mental illness or people that have struggles with themselves or doubts with themselves really well. And I would say subtle. It's not subtle, but it's not in a way where it feels like a caricature. It doesn't feel like in a way where they're beating you over the head like Jonah Hill's character is schizophrenic. But it comes up, but it's not like, for example, I just watched Daredevil 2003, and this is a minor spoiler for our review coming out. We're doing a retrospective. The amount of times they talk about that he is blind is ridiculous. Every character has to fucking bring it up to him. And that's what's great about this. Whether it's some characters that bring it up in a subtle way of like poking around it because they're awkward or nervous to talk about it, or if it's just brought up in a conversation, it's not a big deal. And yes, something like that is a big deal. And there's times in the show where it is a big deal, but it's not all the time. It's not just, that's not what defines a character. That is a big portion of the character because he's struggling with that, and he's trying to overcome that. But that's not what defines him, and that's not what defines the show. What defines the show is these characters meeting and their experiences together, and yeah, trying to work through mental illness. But it's not just 24/7. The whole show is about mental illness, and that's where I guess the comedy and the dreams do break it up. But even in the real world, I don't always feel it's about that. You have other characters' dramas going on. You have other things going on. In their life, you have the back and forth of Annie. She doesn't really trust people. So and Owen doesn't sometimes doesn't know if people are real. So you have these characters that are kind of like two magnets going against each other. They're kind of pushing apart, even though the show is dictating because their main characters go, oh, they should be together. And not in a romantic sense, just in their friends or those are the two leads. So it's set up good as a fun dynamic, and that's what I mean. Even without their mental illnesses, it is a fun dynamic seeing those two characters get to know each other and what they go through. Acting is great almost all the way around. There's some stuff that it's tough with those dreams because they play it really over the top, but they could say, hey, I really want to make it over the top, and then you say, okay, good, you got that. But then sometimes I felt like it was trying not to be over the top, and it still felt over the top. I wasn't a big fan of the Southern Hillbilly one, or like the Russian one. Jonah Hill was just, and that's, I mean, it's a comedic episode though, so it's tough, but it didn't fully flow with me, and like I said, that was the weakest part of the show, and the comedic parts. But it is a fun journey. It has a really great last 3 episodes. There's great episodes sprinkled throughout, but the last 3 are really, really good on the dream aspect, and the ending of the show is beautiful. And there's a few scenes in these last 3 episodes that almost brought me to tears, because when they get to do the dramatic, to me, just the regular Annie and Owen acting, that's when it's the best for the most part. There's a few dream sequences in there that are really good. That's when it's the best, and that's when I was most engaged, and that's why, for me, that's something that obviously is a negative, because I would rather just watch a show of those two characters together, interacting, doing things. And clearly, this is the idea of the show. But for me, that wasn't, I guess you could say it was executed perfectly. If they wanted to be super over the top, then it's just not 100% for me. I'm trying to think of anything else non-spoiler. Sally Field is in this show, and I don't know, I've not seen everything of Sally Field, but she is playing like a really weird, out there type of role. And that's great to see, because ever since Brother and Sisters, she just gets cast as like the fucking wise mom or grandma, you know? So it's good to see her back out there doing something. She's still acting, but I just feel like she has gone typecast since she's gotten older. And I think she shows off in this show that she can do a lot more than just being a fucking Karen mom. She's great, and I want to see her in more stuff like this. And I don't know if that means her and Fukunaga work together. Maybe she can be a Bond girl. I don't know. I doubt he'll even direct that movie. I know he's supposed to, but come on, he's, was supposed to direct It. True Detective Season 2, so, we'll see if that happens. Yeah, for the non-spoilers, I really, really enjoyed it for the most part. There's a few times where it was a bit slower, but I feel like that was the dream sequences where I was not invested as much as I was the real world stuff, and a lot of the comedy did not hit. Justin Theroux is very over the top, so you could say, how come his comedy worked and lots of the other stuff didn't? I don't know. I don't know if it's acting. I don't know if it's writing. I do feel like I said it's because his character stayed a character. And the other people, when they were doing lots of over top stuff, were in a dream world playing different people. Acting is solid. Yeah, I'm trying to think dramatic moments. Like I said earlier, there's some that are some of my favorite of this year, and I was on the verge of tears because it was really well done and really well written. This was a really good show. It doesn't get anywhere close to me for True Detective. One, because I don't know if, as a creator, if he can do anything better than that, just because it was so pitch perfect. But two, I liked those characters better in the sense of I shouldn't say I like the characters better. I like that world better in the sense of one, there's no comedy and over the top stuff, and two, I'm just a big fan of crime drama and detective. Like I love stuff like Seven and everything like that. Dexter's a big thing. So serial killers, type of crime oriented shows, that's a bit more to my liking. But I could say the same thing for this, where I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Very, very different movie, but I don't think me liking crime is why True Detective's better. That's just a reason why I really like, because it's really well done crime. This, really well done, just didn't reach up there. I would, for the non-spoilers, I would give it 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think I will watch it again at some point. Not in the near future, but it's definitely one that I would like to watch now, especially. There's a few things that you could look at differently when you watch it over. So I'll definitely watch this again in the future. I don't think there'll be a season 2 because it even says limited series. But yeah, so I think that's a pretty good recommendation. If you be prepared from some over-the-top comedy, some slower moments, and dealing with mental illness, and some really dramatic stuff. And that's what I mean. It sounds weird when you say it all in to do with one show, but that's in the show. So 8 out of 10. I recommend anyone seeing it, because I think there is something in there for everybody, and I think within 3 episodes, you'll know if you like it or not. You have to stick to 3, or at least I think it's 3. Whenever they get to the dream sequence this world, and you do a dream sequence, then after that decide, did I still really like this, or is this not for me, because the rest of the show's kind of like that. But the dream sequences at the end when they got dramatic, that's what really, really hooked me. It's like, okay, because I did worry that it was just going to be fun, comedic, over-the-top actors getting to play all these different roles, actors being actors. I was like, ugh. Like, this is fun. I'm glad for Emma Stone and Jonah Hill that they get to, like, stretch this muscle, and, like, I get to play this role and this role. But it's like, this isn't really entertaining me at all. But it turned it around. So, 8 out of 10. I'm going into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Come back later if you have not seen it. So, I'm trying to think of anything I want to show in spoilers. The scene I was referring to with Jonah Hill was the scene where he's talking to Olivia, and she's just talking about, like, because we learned that he was worried that his family had paid her off to like him, to marry him, to move in with that, and then he confronted her and yelled at her and just tore her phone apart, and was, schizophrenia was kicking in. He didn't trust himself and his thoughts, and he didn't trust her. Well, that was the verse. Now he doesn't trust himself, but before it was he didn't trust her, he didn't trust his family. That scene where they're talking about... It's spoiler, so if you've not seen the show and you're watching along, I'm going to be a little vague here because I'm hoping you haven't seen it. I'm not going to get into the whole depth of the show. So him talk, because it's set up multiple times. Him talk to Olivia, and Olivia being like, that guy that did this to me, he didn't apologize, he didn't talk to me ever again. And just Hill, like, the pain in his face when she's talking to him, and it's this girl that he was madly in love with. And you can just see it. Obviously, it's a dream scenario, but still, it's a projection of his mind and what he would think would happen. And just the pain in his face of realizing what he had done, that he can't take it back. And, see, I'm getting upset right here. And the lines that he delivered of, like, maybe he wasn't strong enough to say sorry, or I can't remember, there's one specific one about, he couldn't face himself enough to say sorry to you, but he still meant it. And I think we all have those situations. Like, I don't suffer from schizophrenia, but the thing is, like, we all have those situations where I feel like you say stuff or you do something and you really regret it and you would love to apologize, and maybe you don't have the backbone, or maybe if you do, it's just too late. Because that's what it sounds like. Even with Olivia, if Owen comes to apologize in this dream world, it's like, well, it's kind of too late because that is in the past, right? And we've all been there. We've all made those mistakes. And it's tough when you know that you've hurt someone and it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, what you try to make up for them, you can't fix it. It's done. It's over. You've hurt that person, and it's tough, and that's, I think the show did a really good job of portraying that, and portraying that him realizing what he had done, that no matter what he does, he's lost this person, and that plays into a big role into that end scene with him and Annie, about him talking about, like, I'm going to get mad at you, I'm going to yell at something insignificant, I'm going to, you're not going to want to be my friend anymore, you're not going to call me anymore, and with that last scene, that last 20 minutes is great. Those two, that's their best performances in the show, I think. Even though that I love that diner scene, but that was fire. And I wanted one more episode just them doing the road trip. Obviously, that's the point. Leave you one more, right? But when they sneak out and just the talking back and forth and just her being like, I'm never going to do that to you. And their facial reactions are so good and so strong that you feel the second she sits down with him in the kind of the institution because his family gets him committed. It's just so great, and it shows like both of them. One, obviously Emma Stone, Academy Award-winning actress, so you know she has it, but it also shows Jonah Hill how much he's grown as actor. Right? He was just talking about thinking about Superbad with those two. You know, he was just the big chubby comedic guy, and he has some great acting chops, and that's why for me it's like some of the dream stuff was so over the top that it took away from it and it made him feel less as strong. And even with her, she did a bit better, but there's times like with the elf thing, it's like it was like and that thing they were kind of going for the comedy, but it just didn't work out for me. So sometimes it not to that extent, but it felt like a little time sometimes when you're watching a bad movie, right? You're like, ugh, like why'd they do this, you know? But they're doing that on purpose, but it just didn't work for me. But that ending is great. Just the shot of them driving away, fantastic. And I love that they didn't really put a label on. They did kind of stress more, I think, that they were just going to be friends, but still you could get in multiple dreams they were married together, and there was kind of a, you know, lots of the things they're saying are about friends, but they are as well romantic, right? And you could assume that could happen down the line. You have a guy and a girl who really like each other and get along. Same, whatever you're into, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, you know, there's someone in the same room with you, you get click like that. It's probably going to happen eventually, right? And that's where these two characters, now down the line, I could see that happening. But even if not, I like that there was no big kiss scene, there was no big that. It felt natural, it felt good. Other than, you know, of course she's breaking them out of institution, but still, like, it felt as natural and realistic as you could. I'm trying to think of anything else spoiler I want to shout out. I don't know which dream was my favorite, probably. I don't know, I don't know, I guess probably the crime one, probably the, like, kind of the 1920s kind of mystery one, almost like a Gatsby sort of deal. Like I said, it's tough for me to pick a favorite, because I didn't love those, you know, to me, when I give this an 8 out of 10, it just shows how strong, when it was firing on cylinders, this show was fucking great. So, the stuff with his brother was really good, obviously. That's what gets him committed, is on the trial. That reveal of, like, because they really build up. it just, I guess that's why also, too, caught me by surprise this was Fukunaga, but that's where it's reassuring. They really build it up, this reveal of what did his brother do. So they kind of make it sound like he maybe sexually assaulted a girl, and then I must have misunderstood, but in one of those dream sequences when he's the gangster, that the person says, oh, like, he killed somebody and you're going to take the blame for it, and because you're mentally ill, we can just write off insanity and he'll be off scot-free and you'll be off scot-free. And I legitimately thought that was it, and maybe that was the show design, because he is mentally ill in the real world, and that makes sense what they want to do, because his family clearly does not love him. He's the black sheep of the family. There's that moment where they're at the painting all together and he's off to the fucking side. So clearly I thought that was the way it was going, but then no, we get to the court case, or right before the court case, they're talking about, like, peeing and urinating on people, so you're like, okay. And then you just assume that, yeah, he's peeing on girls, like, R. Kelly style, and then, no, this girl fucking pees on him. And then when they cut away and they cut back to the camera, and he's just like, wow. That actor did a really good job, because, what is his name? And I feel like I recognize him from something. Billy McGusson. I'm not going to look up him right now, but he had a face where I was like, I know you from somewhere, but I couldn't place it. He was great in the fact that he played, like, the imaginary, like, Mission Impossible secret agent brother really well. He was smooth and, like, camera to a point, but he just came off like legitimate. He was in a Mission Impossible movie, and that was great. And then as Jed, there's sometimes playing a character that you're supposed to hate and really get under your skin is a lost art, because sometimes they become so, like, popular, or so, they say so much, like, bad stuff or kind of quippy stuff to put down a character that you might start laughing or find that character entertaining because they're just so well written, or the person playing it can make it really over the top. Like, I feel like people discount that, but I feel like we see so many movies and TV shows where, like, this is supposed to be the character you hate, and it's like either I end up liking him and then the show will probably back up and be like, oh, we like him now, or they just don't do a good job of it. Oh, sorry, I couldn't continue the review without the neck crack. He did a great job because you fucking hated him. You fucking hated him as a brother. You knew he was a piece of shit. Even though you didn't know what he did, even though you didn't know 100% he was guilty, because everyone would say, oh no, like, it's just a mistake. He felt guilty. He felt like he had such a stray relationship with his brother. He felt like he had this weird kind of trophy wife situation with his wife. It wasn't even that, but just the way he treated her and the way, like, when he was singing, you could tell she's uncomfortable at that party, and he's just like, just making it seem like there's nothing better in the world than him. And he did a great job with that. I didn't show him on non-spoilers. I should have. Justin Theroux's storyline, I don't know how much to say because it's a fun storyline. He gets booted out because, they don't really trust him. They bring him back. He made a bunch of mistakes. I love the reveal of the machine being based off his mom. The mom and him have a weird relationship. There's that big awkward kiss. I've said this before because of Game of Thrones. Incest is in nowadays. It's just a thing that's used quite often in TV shows. And yeah, they weren't fucking, but it's like, think about 5 years ago or before Game of Thrones, just like a mom and whatever son kissing. It'd be super, super rare, and it would be like a rarity as far as movie and TV that we've seen in years. Now, this shit is happening all the time, and it's still not gross, so great, but it was a weird scene. The best part was when, like, he still had the lipstick, and then what was the girl that, Azumi, anyways, the girl, his love interest, when she, like, does, like, oh, he got lipstick on, and just the way he, like, rubs it, he was great. I could see people not liking him, and if you didn't, I could get it. He could be a really annoying character to somebody, but Justin Theroux kind of does those type of weird roles. I really like it, and I need more Justin Theroux in my life. Yeah, and then the stuff that I liked with The Dream, I didn't want to shout out in the non-spoilers, but it is when it did the obvious stuff, when it tied in, when she goes, like, the very first dream with the Southern people, and they go into that house, and it is the house of the guy, it's the house of the family of the guy who ran over Annie's sister, or hit them, and then killed her. So, and throughout them, they're swimming. That's when it really started to hook me, because that first episode, when they're like the hillbillies, it goes on for like 30 minutes of no connections, really. I could be wrong, because the other episodes, or the other dreams, felt like that was more spruced throughout, but that one felt more like we're just gonna have some fun in the dream world. I could be wrong, but it felt like not to the last 15 minutes, it didn't really kick in. I gotta find out her name as well, too. Julie Garner. Speaking of Americans, she's gonna be a fucking mega star. I'm not sure if I've said that on any cast. I like to say it now so I can just put that stamp. I didn't know she was on Ozark. I think she is because it looked like she was on the Netflix poster. I want to watch Ozark, and I'm happy about that. But when she was in Americans, and I don't want to spoil that show, but she plays a very interesting, uncomfortable role, and she did that really well, and she was on that show for quite a while. Anytime I see her in a movie or TV show, she's great. I don't even know who she reminds me of, but she just steals scenes. And in this, her chemistry with Emma Stone is great. She plays like that young, naive, very passionate, but bullheaded in the sense of bullheaded against her sister. And she knows her sister can be full of shit sometimes, and she's good to call her on that. She's one of the people that can just pull off naturals so well. She's almost, I don't want to throw out Julia Roberts because that's a big claim, but I get those type of vibes when Julia Roberts, or even a Tom Hanks, sometimes people playing normal, like Ryan Gosling can never just play a normal guy. He always has to be hurt. He always has to have something going on. There's something wrong with him or broken in character because he's always off staring. I can't remember last time I saw Ryan Gosling play a normal guy. Like, even Crazy Stupid Love, he's playing a Heidenberry, charismatic normal guy. Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, those are people that can play normal people well in a real world situation, and she does that really good. So watch out for her. I think she's going to be a big star. I don't think I got anything else to say. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. Had a few problems on the comedy front and the dream front. I like the world stuff a bit more, or the real world stuff a bit more. I will watch it again. I don't know in the near future, but I will watch it again. And that's stuff where I see the dream stuff now that I've seen it the first time, I might tune out. I might go on my laptop, or I might go on my phone, stuff like that, because I didn't fall in love with it. So thank you very much for tuning into this review. I forgot to shout out at the very beginning, but please, 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 November 3rd, 9 a.m. PST on Twitch and YouTube, we're doing our 24-hour extra live stream. All the proceeds go to BC Children's Hospital. We're trying to raise $1,000. We raised $500. Well, our goal was $500 last year. We did $550. We're up in the ante. If we can hit the 1,000, we got not one, not two, but three. 3 shaven heads. Mine could be one of them, which, would not be great, but I can wear a toque in the winter, so that's the positive. That's the great thing about here in, Kelowna. It's going to snow a lot, so that's the silver lining. Well, I won't have hair to take care of. But we got big events. We got a tournament plan. We got title matches from our gaming league. Taylor and Ruben from Rotternaut they're going to battle out to see who would shave each other's head and play some weird games. Hunka Hunka is coming. There's another event that we can't announce yet, but Hunka Hunka, my brother in the Rival podcast that just love the DCU and hate us, we're finally going to match and mix, and he's going to meet a lot of people there. And last time he was there, him and Taylor had some words and got into like a fight with Christmas wrapping paper. So what's going to happen, I don't know, but you want to tune in. And please, if you cannot donate, you can start donating now or wait until November 3rd. And if you can't on November 3rd, please like, share, or spread the link, because whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, that helps us a lot. If you can't donate, that's fine, I get it, especially Christmas coming up, budgets are tight, but if you could share it, maybe someone else could donate, and that would help us a lot. So any help or anything that you do in advance, we would like to thank you for that, because last year we didn't think we hit 500, and we did. So I'm the same thing. I don't know if we hit 1,000. I hope you can prove me wrong. It's going towards a great cause. So thank you for listening to this review. I will see you for Geek First News or the 24-hour stream. Check out our channels, SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbay. They love us there. They fucking hate us. Anywhere podcasts are, we're probably there. Go to YouTube for the video versions. Please like, share, and review. Go to Patreon to get episodes early. Got the Spider-Man retrospective there. Got Clone Wars retrospective. Daredevil retrospectives coming up. So thank you very much for tuning in. When you hear from me next, it will not be boring.